Walking down this way, I wish to God I had a camera with me. Why? Because after I told them later dudes, I fell in a giant hole. Right here somewhere. For the record. The problem is I don't actually recall exactly where, but I might have been dreaming. So I found out of all the places I've died at, I was dreaming. Not really. This is my favorite creek though. When I was a kid, I was mad at my dad. See, the house, you can't see it, it's on the other side of the trees. And all he wanted to do was work on his truck. And I wanted a cool bicycle. And I was like sitting here mad at myself. I don't want to be a cool bicycle. I want a cool pocket knife. And this is where I sat. And it was like a kid's idea of angry at parents. Wow. And I was like, I'm not really that angry. I was like, well, me neither. Not falling in a scary hole. Cool. I loved walking out here. But my dream is, I wouldn't be a good live streamer. Look at me, I'm a dork. A plus. But I've always wanted to. Remember when I told you I get excited, I want to take off cross country? I've always wanted to record it, but like this is, I wouldn't be like the rest of them. I'm like, does anybody know anything about this tree? And the super hot chick and the buff guy that had sex on the rock, she was like, I told you it's important to him. And he was like, you don't even know him. Hey, thanks. I like trees. Like super hot chicks too, but I mean, come on, great grandma, who's not really my grandma, but she's friends with my great grandma. I was gonna find some deer tracks. I couldn't find any. The first information I got was kid nabbed a bag of steel from his pops. The other information I got, nabbed a bag of steel for his pops from behind the shop. But the other one, the reality I really know, is of the actual robot that refused to disclose the location. Like, that's what I mean. I don't know where it's at until after I find it. But I found it. Ouch. That's like a super good dance. I think right here. No. I make it to this fence, but used to, whoever owned this land bought that field also. And that there's a house right there. He particularly may have the same name as me, which kind of tripped me out further in the future. That house right there is on the owner's land. He let him build a house there to live on it, but I mean, like, a year passed and he wouldn't pay like the idea of rent at time frame or help out or nothing, and then they put a fence up. That's the true story. But the secret is, prior to all that, prior to Indians, that area was really good for getting rocks to build houses. And the building that's on the adjacent road, there's a dirt road that's got an old rock building that a gentleman that lived in that, the house I live in, but then a different house, or not a different house, he was commissioned to build it. Super excited, he made money. But the secret is, the woman who really commissioned the house refused to pay the guy who lived in the house I live in, refused to pay him That's sort of the joke. Refused to pay him to do the windows and the roof. And he like had super plans for that money. He's gonna get cool stuff. But they were best friends. All over out here, the reality I'm at, it's like it's cool info, and we're just like, we walk along it. We watch out for cows that might kick us. But the reality is there's actually the part they don't like talking about, unmarked graves all over this area of people who lived here. It's really cool. But that's why that little creek right there that I was telling you never has water in it. That's one of my favorite parts. I guess. And those group of trees over there. Off that way is a group of trees. And at a time frame, it said his parents were buried there. Both of them passed. But the cool thing for the day, I think, has to do with finding buried treasure randomly. And that's like pre-19, you know what I mean? Like railroad spike guys, collectors, horseshoe collectors. But shoe horn, this is where his emotional turmoil. He knew she was a robot when she buried her treasure, because he built her. But look at that fire. I don't want to get too close because sometimes wind picks up and that fire runs the length of that corner to there. Look at that dude hauling ass. He's just like, that's super cool. I don't know, it was like across the back. I just ride my dirt bike out here. He honored her decision not to tell where the buried treasure was at. He didn't set out on an adventure to find it. Super mad. It's like some people see things differently. Look, I didn't go look for it. I randomly found it. But I sort of love about it. The information is when she passed away, the actual robot, that they parted her out in California. And it makes it that much more valuable. You know what I mean? Because you watch the movies and you're like, this movie came out in 1990. But you don't get, she's a robot that searched for buried treasure, accumulated it, and buried it. But she only had, she's like, and some gold. But the joke is, she had a metal detector app. It's pretty good fire. It's all the way up to the pond. I love it out here. I better get off there. I'll tell you more in a minute.